Happy last week of school, everybody. I know that it feels like a strange last week, but please know that all of your efforts that you're making to have culminating experiences with students mean the world to students. So thank you for your work. Those of you who know me know that I kind of really like to hike. My goal is to try to section hike the Appalachian Trail while I'm still able to do that. So I've been thinking about this journey that we've had during distance learning, and it does remind me a lot of what it feels like to climb a mountain. Like you prepare, and when you start climbing, you realize you're missing an item and two that don't quite work out for you, and you have to stop and reevaluate. And there are times it's really hard, and I think halfway up the mountain, like, I'm not sure I can do this. Like, what am I going to do? I'm not sure I can do it. And sometimes I have to rely on the people I'm climbing with to say inspirational or encouraging words to me, or sometimes I have to do it myself by like listening to music or something, or reading something to keep me going. And then finally, when we get to the top, there's just such a great feeling of throwing my hands up in the air, taking off this heavy backpack, and just celebrating this like achievement. And I feel like we deserve that right now. You all have climbed this incredible mountain called distance learning, and we did it with like no warning. We just did it. We all stepped up to the plate and we made that happen. And I think that's incredible. So I want to just take a moment to celebrate all that you're doing. It also kind of reminds me of a quote that I'm sure you're familiar with that J.R. Tolkien said, who's the author of The Hobbit, "Not all those who wander are lost." And I think about that often when I'm walking on some trail out in the middle of wilderness, but I feel like that kind of describes us as well. But I'm going to say this, I don't think we're lost. I think we're wandering, and we're wandering to try to reevaluate and think about these terms in education like engagement and time and space and accountability, interaction, relationship, all of those things. Like, we're kind of wandering through those concepts to try to figure out our new definition of them. And that's okay. It's okay to feel like we're still figuring it out right now. So those are just some thoughts that I had about like where we currently are and what we're going to do to step into the future. And I've quit thinking about this as in over the summer or the first quarter, or what if we can go back after the first semester. And instead, I'm trying to think about it in the terms of what can we do now, regardless of our learning environment in the future, that makes us an even better school district? How can we make decisions that transfer to any situation that's given to us? And it's been helpful to kind of let go of those incremental time periods and just think about like our journey, kind of moving forward as a team. So there's some things that we're doing to continue with that work. I want to tell you about a new committee that started. It's called LINK, which stands for Learning in New Communities. And it's a committee of about 24 people who are going to work together to try to have a K through 12 perspective on the things that are happening right now in education, in our school district, in the government, so that we can quickly pivot and come up with really good resources to support everybody during these times. Some of those people who are on that committee are the usual suspects, like Lauren and Ashley. But other people are actually going to be released from their teaching responsibility for the year and joining that committee full time. Some people are going to have less of a teaching responsibility and be part of that committee, and others will be teaching full time but just consulting with that committee. And I'm really, really excited because I feel like I'm a little removed from everybody, sitting down here in the Stewart basement and only getting to chat with a few of you from time to time. So having a group that regularly says, okay, here's what's going on, this is what needs to be addressed from this perspective, is going to be really awesome for us as a school district, as well as the fact that we're going to have dedicated people who are going to be able to quickly pull together resources as we need them in the future. So I'm really excited for that. I also want to say thank you for your flexibility and patience, because we have not been able to give you all the information about professional learning from May 26th to 29th. And to be honest with you, it's because we're still working on it. I keep laughing and saying, I've never built a week's worth of professional learning activities, let alone in this like distance model. So it's just taken a hot second or two to figure out how to do it. We're consulting with two really awesome groups, the University of Colorado and the University of Cincinnati. They both had internal experts that have done a lot of research into blended learning and online learning. And so they're creating some of the modules for us. And additionally, we'll have some of our own internal experts of people who have tried some new things that you can visit. So again, trying to think of it a little bit as a Braves Academy, but spreading that out, and the fact that most of it will be asynchronous, but we also want to give synchronous time as well, because it's important for all of us to connect. Online learning isn't just completely alone. Online learning should still have connection and relationship. So we're trying to embed that as well. So thanks for your patience. I promise more information is coming. We know that it'll be about 15 hours between Tuesday and Friday. And then there'll be another 15 hours that we're going to curate that will be available for people in June or August. And we ask that people do an additional 15 hours on their own time. And I'm really thankful for your willingness to do that. There just feels like there's so much for us to learn to be able to not feel like we're in crisis mode next year. The goal is to move away from that feeling of we are building the plane while we fly it. We want to instead feel like we're kind of ahead of the game a little bit. So thank you for your willingness to do a little bit of work in the summer. Okay, lastly, typically in the summer I do a really good job of trying to not email people, but there's just a lot going on, and so maybe check your email from time to time, because we want to continue to be really transparent and keep people super, super informed. And so as things shift and as we have to make decisions, we want to be able to contact you to say, okay, here's what's happening now in schools. So just know that you might receive an email from time to time. We promise not to overwhelm. Okay, in closing, I'm just so thankful for you. Like I feel like so proud to be part of your team and for everything that you've done. It's just incredible when I think about the shift that education has made in such a short period of time, and how people are really working hard to take care of students and to take care of each other. So I wish you in the summer lots of downtime. Everybody needs some downtime. And then I can't wait to see you again, whether that be through a virtual chat or a phone call, or if we get to be face-to-face. Either way, I'm just excited to continue this journey and to see where we all end up next year together, thinking about how we best serve students. So thanks for everything that you have done. You are so appreciated.